All right. Well, assalamu alaikum, my brothers. How are you guys doing? And sisters, how's it going on? Welcome back to the Coffee's channel here to our daily live stream, the Coffee Q&A, most daily, sometimes daily, normally daily, not always daily. How you doing? Hope your weekend was a good one. Back from Connecticut and in the studio today. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Looks like I'm going to be going to Boston tomorrow to go attend to my aunt. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to affect our live streams. Probably no stream tomorrow, maybe no on Wednesday, maybe again on Thursday. Unfortunately, it's kind of everything's up in the air at the moment. So my aunt has been in rehab for the last few months. And if you remember back in March, I was up there. And now we have to go back to go pick her up and bring her to Maryland. Now, my aunt is a pretty brilliant woman who has spent all of her life in Boston, or most of her life in Boston, and has lived a very independent and very strong life. Like if you're familiar with a product called Splenda, not Splenda, sorry. Is it Splenda? Equal, not aspartame is not sucrose. But aspartame, she was one of the food chemists that developed that. So a lot of amazing accomplishments, but now she's, a little bit older and no longer can take care of herself. So we have to go get her, and she's definitely reticent to move. Best way to put it. But she's no longer in a position where she can, live independently. So it's difficult. It's difficult. Nate, how are you doing? Maku, good to see you. Nate says, I'm having a light roasted coffee today, black and white, grown by Edwin Norena. Oh, nice. They call it Gummy Sharks. Awesome. And it's a pour over a clear wave. Oh, excellent. Dev, good morning to you. How's things in Hawaii? Keone, aloha to you in Thailand. So today, as you can see, I'm wearing the traditional Saudi thobe because I thought I'd share with you how to make the coffee that was featured in the video that was released over the weekend when I went to go visit my friend Michael Miyake, who owns Mocha Coffee in Daikanyama, Tokyo. If you get a chance to go to Tokyo, Mocha should be one of the places you want to consider going. I'm not going to tell you you have to go any place, but I would definitely put it on your list of considerations to go. The nice thing about Japan is that while you can go and enjoy all of the high-end specialty coffees that you can enjoy pretty much anywhere else in the world, they have their own distinct coffee culture. And Maiko's shop is a blend of those two, a really unique blend, where one of my favorite places is, Cafe de l'Ombre, which is very old school Kisaten. Maiko is in between those two worlds. She has, very Kisaten-esque features in that it's a very small shop. She's the proprietress. She's the only person that makes the coffee. If you go there, you're going to be with her, and that's it. But she buys high quality, coffees. Almost all of them are from Yemen. So that's one of the unique features of her. And here's interesting, as I was talking to her before, as I was, writing the script and planning on how to put together the stories, that she was telling me that she opened in 2011. So in now the 14 years that she's been operating, despite the difficulties with Yemeni coffee production as well as the civil war, she has never been without coffee ever during the operation of her shop. So really nice achievement, I think. Nate wants to know, is it mocha or mocha? It is spelled mocha, M-O-C-H-A. And I think the thing with the Middle East is that because, of course, it's an Arabic-based language and word system, the romanization and translation into English spelling can be different. So you've seen mocha being M-O-K-K-A, M-O-C-H-A, just depending on how you're doing, who's doing the translation. In this particular case, Maiko for her shop uses M-O-C-H-A. So that's going to be one of the deciding factors, right? It's in Shibuya. And it's in a neighborhood called Daikanyama. So kind of like on the southern, outskirts of Shibuya, right? It's basically the first, what is it? Is it the first stop on the Toyosu line? Basically, if you're coming through Shibuya Station, you just kind of stay on the train and if you watch the video, I got a link down below, I think. right? Did I put a link? I can't remember. I think I did. If I didn't, I will put a link after this. But if you, it's the video that came out on Saturday. And in the video, I kind of tell you like how to get there and even show you like a little bit of a map and how to walk there. So it's hopefully enough instruction on making it easy to go there, because the first time I went there, I kind of got lost, right? If you're walking down the street, the main entrance of Mocha will be on the left. But if you actually make a little bit of if you jog off to the right, there's a little kind of like light, small street as well. It's not quite a Y. Then the Mocha's entrance will be on the right because it straddles both sides. So it's like, so I walked by it a couple of times the very first time I tried to go, and I was like, I can't find it. And then I finally found it, and thus began my journey. Peter, good evening to you. Mom, good morning. Okay, finally, yes, have a look at it. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, that whole kind of thing. It's all YouTubing. So today we're going to be making, so in the video, I was there with my friend Celia Lam, and she's a chef based in Bangkok. And we were, touring around, went to a place called Afuri to have the yuzu shio ramen before that, and then went to see Michael. Now, it was Celia's first time visiting Mocha. And, we're talking to Michael, as you'll see in the video, we're talking to Michael, and she's like, oh yeah, we have 2 different types of Arabic coffee. And I was like, oh, 2 different types. I've only known one, really. Like there's the style that we have in Saudi Arabia that I've been to quite a lot. And then there's another style that's more popular in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, which I don't recall having or even noting a distinction between the two. So I went to, so we were like, oh, I let Celia decide, but I was kind of like, let's try this UAE. I was hoping she would choose the UAE version, and which is what she did. And the UAE version is roasted a little bit darker than the Saudi version. So today we're going to do the Saudi version, and it's a very light roasted coffee. Like, in the world of, especially we talk about light roasted coffees, this is way lighter than anything. Like, how in the videos when we do coffee roasting, like the live roasting, I'm showing you like the moments where it goes from green to yellow, and then more of a straw color, has this hay kind of like aroma as it's roasting. And then eventually starts to get the sugared Maillard reaction to it. Saudi coffee is roasted to that point before the sugars start to convert, right? And you're like, whoa. And the first time I saw it, I was like, what is this green? Because the liquid actually looks a little bit green. You're like, what is that all about, right? But this style of brewing is how they've been brewing coffee in the Middle East since like the 15th century, right? And so it's been going on for a long, long time. And this is how, and I guess that makes sense. Like somewhere along the way, maybe it was the Dutch that stole the coffee from the Arabs that started to roast it darker. I don't know. That's my hypothesizing here going on. Mom says the video is well done. Thank you. I'm actually honored that you say that, and I'm very proud of it, because it's one of the videos. I was thinking when I was getting ready to release, I was like, this is my best video ever, I think. And I was like, well, I hope it is, because it's the most recent one, so hopefully the efforts get better. But this is one that really took a long time. It took like 6 months for me to actually edit it. And not because I was working on this for 6 months, it's just because it kept getting pushed back, and things are busy, and it's just like, oh, I don't have time to edit this week, and months go by and nothing happens. But I did restart the edit, like totally trash the previous version and start again like 4 times to get to this point. So I'm hoping the pacing was good for you, and I hope you find it enjoyable and informative, of course, informative. Peter says no first crack, man, no first crack. I'm going to say this based on my recollection of conversation with coffee roasters that roast this coffee, and I can only be 65% assured of its accuracy, right? But what I was told is that these coffees will be roasted to that point, but they will take a long time to get there. They'll take like 15 minutes to get there. I don't know if how that really affects it or anything. Like it's not like we're roasting the way that we roast, and you're roasting it and you do like 5 minutes and you're done. I don't think that's how a lot of them could be, but I might do it that way because I don't know any better. But that's kind of my understanding. So let's start by getting our water ready. What we need to do is we need to boil water. So how this works is that we've got let's look at the coffee first before we. Well, let's get the water going on first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our burner. Hope there's enough gas still left. Oh yeah, that should be good. And instead of, I brought my pot from the kitchen here, and we're going to get some fresh water. And we're going to pour the water into here. Oh, how much water is that? I don't know. We don't, here's the thing. In the video, you'll see that Michael's making the two of us drink 2 servings, 500 milliliters of water. So presuming 250 milliliters is a single serving with 4 scoops of the pre-ground coffee. Now, the 4 scoops I'm estimating will be about 28 grams. So 1 scoop is normally about 7 grams of coffee. So 4 times 7, 28 grams, more or less. You don't have to be. Here's the thing. In the real world of normal people making coffee, it's never that precise, right? Like, especially if you're out there in the Bedouin lands and you're like setting up camp in the desert and you're trying to make coffee, you're not busting out scales to worry about it. You're probably not even going to grind the coffee. You probably have the coffee pre-ground. Now, if you ever get to the Middle East and you have the opportunity to go camping, go do it. The guys get in their trucks. They got all these like 4 Nissan Patrols, and they load up the gear, and you go out there and they lay out the carpets. It can be as opulent as what we see in John Wick, but it's not normally that opulent. But they've got the nice, you got rugs and like settees so you can sit down, and maybe a little table, and you build a fire and you cook and you eat. Man, it's such a good time. Like if you ever get the chance, totally worth it. Even if you go to like, let's say Dubai, and you sign up for one of those like tourist outings, I'm sure it's going to be totally worth it. So definitely. Okay, so we're going to heat the water. Right? We're going to heat the water and put it aside. Peter says, I edit my videos off my phone using free cafe water. My niece, whose subscriber count is going to surpass my subscriber count any moment now. Any moment now. She does that. She does that all the time. Like she's always making get ready with me videos, and like, she's always like, and I don't get it. Like, what's with the young kids today? Like, she likes to stick out her tongue. She's always like, what's with the tongue? And I'm also kind of like, now I'm a single man, right? I'm a single guy. I like to go out. I like to date women, but you know what? I see my niece. I'm like, you're showing too much midriff. There's too much midriff. You should wear longer shirts. You should wear longer shirts. I have to be a little bit careful, right? Because you don't want to be that uncle that's like that says it too much, and then it's like, oh God. I mean, a little bit of eye rolling is acceptable, but can't have it all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Never says, are we making the coffee from the video? Essentially, but this is the Saudi coffee rather than the Emirati coffee. So in order to make the Saudi coffee, I've got this coffee here. This is from a company called Black Knight, based out of Al Khobar on the western coast, the eastern coast of Saudi Arabia. Jeddah's on the western coast. This is from the eastern coast of Saudi Arabia. And here is what they say. And I don't know how to read Arabic, but it does read from left to right, or right to left, not left to right. And you can see here that if you'd like BK Coffee, Black Knight Coffee, you can look them up on Instagram or scan these if you want. So these guys were kind enough to give me this coffee when I was there. And they were like, hey, try this out. We'd love you to have it. And I was like, oh, thank you. That's very kind. Because, we go there to judge the coffee championship. So people tend to be Middle Easterners are very hospitable. Okay, so here, let's have a look at the coffee. There's a very different aroma to it. And as you can see, a very different color. Look at that. That is like super light. Actually, it is a little bit darker than I was thinking originally. So relatively light. So, we're just starting to reach, like you're just starting to see shades of the Maillard reaction happening. The sugar is being converted, but we're just starting. It's just right on the verge of where it's going to start, and then they stop. It's kind of got a cereally sweet aroma. I'm presuming, well, maybe not in this case. Looking at it, the coffee beans are very clean, meaning very uniform. We don't see some of that, the change of color, the dissonance of color that you might see in natural processed coffees. But natural processed coffees are typically what they will use in the Middle East because that's really what was available to them, right? Like washed coffees developed in Central America because there was a lot of water that they could use to wash the coffee, but you're not going to waste water in the middle of the desert to wash your coffee, so it was always dried and then hulled, which is why and because of that, natural process was really the only way coffee was in the Middle East. And so people there really prefer or tend to gravitate towards natural processed coffees, which means that someone like myself who likes natural processed coffees really kind of enjoys the coffee experience there. Okay, so we've got this coffee. But we will waste some coffee. Let's do some weighing because we've got this expensive scale that we should put to good use. And I'm gonna say there is, I don't know how much. I'm gonna say there's 500 mils in there. Now it's boiling. We're gonna turn that down a little bit. And we got the water here. Zoom in a little bit more for you. So we're going to use the same recipe, 28 grams. More or less, right? More or less. Now 413 grams. Now let's see here. How do we get? So 500 is about 1 to 17.5 brew ratio, in case you wanted to know how to do this on your own to recreate it. But we like 114.5 because that's who we are. Now we got this really, lightly roasted coffee that is strangely light roasted compared to what we're used to. And we're gonna grind it. And I'm gonna grind it a little bit on the a little bit on the coarser side, but my flow matches my grinder. That's very nice. And we're just going to grind it like this. We're just going to grind it and see what happens. I don't really know what the grind's supposed to be, but there's already coffee in here. We don't want to have too much leftover coffee to interfere with the flavor of our beautiful. Now it does sound a little bit harder, because the beans are going to be a little bit more harder. Is that a word? Harder, more harder. Are going to be harder than the regular coffee because we haven't removed as much moisture. We haven't affected the structure of the coffee as much as we would with darker roasting. Now let's have a look at our. There it is. Ooh, that looks truly authentic. I don't know why I say that because it is from a true Saudi roaster actually. So that's what I remember now. Black Knight is a company that's a specialty coffee roaster, and they do roast this from specialty Arabica beans. This is definitely on the wash side. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this coffee. JR, how are you? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And we got our water. Let me zoom that out a little bit more. Whoops. Oh, we don't want to see the opu. Okay, now we've got this and we're going to boil up. So we got about 500 mils in here. As I was looking at how much water is left in here, there's 400 mils left in this container. So I'm going to bring it to a boil, and now we're going to add the coffee. Now, if you want to do, you can add things like cardamom or saffron if you want, and you just kind of let it boil. So we're going to let it, we're going to turn it down a bit. Whoops. And here we go. We're going to let it boil 19 minutes, and we're going to let it boil for 15 minutes. So we want to get a good infusion of the coffee into the liquid. So it takes a while. And so you have to take a while. So, okay, that's a good rolling boil. All right. Now, can we do this picture in picture? Let me put this picture in picture here. How about this one? I want to put that there. No, I want to go the other way. Let's go this way. Oh, come on. Why am I there? I don't want to be there. Don't want to be there either. Picture in picture. Well, how about if we... How does this work? That's not working out. Okay, that works. So maybe we'll stay there. We'll stay there, and you can see the true action instead of just my face talking. How about that? Oh, gotta keep that off center because otherwise the steam is going to. Now, one of the things we got to be careful with, like you notice, there's steam happening, right? So the steam is happening, and it's going to be boiling off. So we're going to add a little bit more water to offset that steaming. How much water are we adding? I don't know. I just poured a little bit, just kind of go by feel. Again, if we're out in the desert, you have to like kind of go by feel. Speaking of desert, if you're in the desert of Saudi or in the Middle East, this outfit is really great. This is what I'm wearing here is what's called the thobe, and this is what you see most people in the Saudi Arabia wearing. Now, thobes are also worn in other parts of the Arabian Peninsula. They can be a lot different, right? Like for example, this is a traditional one. Sometimes they have regular fold-over collars. This has the Nehru collar, so it kind of reminds me that I'm like the Pope. If I wore a sash and a white beanie, then I could be, I could walk around like the Pope, although I'm not a White Sox fan. However, so here's the thing. So this particular one is made out of polyester. It's a gift to me from a good friend of mine, Ahmed Al-Ahmed. Thank you, Ahmed. And on the occasion of my first trip to Saudi Arabia, and he was like, he's a judge that I've known for many years, since 2017. He was this guy, actually of Lebanese descent, who lives in Syria. Is that right? No, no. Yeah, I think so. And so he now lives in Saudi. He then lived at the time when I met him in 2017. He came out to Istanbul to be one of our judges. And just an interesting guy. And so then he was living in Saudi when I started going to Saudi like a year or two later. And we've just been good friends. And so my first trip there, he was like, "Let me get you a proper thobe." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." That's a nice thobe. We went ahead and custom made at one of these tailors there that are making thobes. And you can choose a wide range of is this even interesting? You can choose a wide range of fabrics. Now, there are very fancy thobes out there. Like, you can get super fancy thobes and really nice linens and stuff like that. But one of the things that I wonder, like, this is kind of a cotton polyester blend, which is really good because it's lightweight, it's breathable, but more importantly, it doesn't wrinkle. Like, if you get like the really nice cottons and linens, like they will wrinkle. And like, I like it when you don't have to wrinkle. Now, there's also pockets. So you got a pocket here, so you can get. And the pockets have little pockets so you can hide stuff. It's very light flowing. So in the hot desert, it's very airy. Now, here's the thing. If you get one, you need to get the proper undergarments, right? You have to wear a white t-shirt. So I'm wearing a white t-shirt right now. And then you have to wear bloomers, right? If you don't wear the bloomers, you actually can see. It's actually pretty sheen. Like, you can kind of see through it, right? Especially when it gets hit by light. You can see through it. Like, I'm actually not wearing bloomers at the moment because everything is just from here up. But like, I was, as I was preparing stuff, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, oh, I could totally see my shorts that I'm wearing underneath this. So you definitely, if you want to be dressed properly, you want to do that. Otherwise, it looks weird. Like, you want to have that all white flow. It looks so solid. And so if you decide to go, I like the ones that have the cuffs, the French cuffs, right? I think that's kind of classy. And then one of the things you want to do is you want to have the proper accessory. So you want to have a watch. You got to have a nice little watch here. Like this was actually a gift from one of the guys at Camel Step. He was like, you need to have a proper watch. And so he got me this nice watch, very kind of golden. They love golden tone things there. And then what you always want is you want to have a proper pen in your pocket, right? And so this is a Mont Blanc, small, cheap, old Mont Blanc, not the fancy ones. The fancier Saudi guys have like super, like, you know, fancy pens. This is about as fancy as I have. And then what else do you have to have? And so you wear these traditional, like, so traditionally you wear this footwear. And I actually picked up some, and they look like this. They're leather footwear, right? And, you know, just a little bit ornate, all leather, stitched on the bottom. It's fairly comfortable. I mean, it's like flip-flops or like, you know, it's slippers, you know, whatever you want to call them. And they have a little separate toe hold, which is kind of cool. At first, when I was first looking getting one, I was like, I wasn't really grooving with the look. I was like, is that really look nice? I don't know if that looks nice, but then I kind of liked them. Of course, I don't have much opportunity to wear this outfit here in America. Like, if I was wearing it in other places, I might, you know, people might think that, you know how people think here. Makes you want to carry a backpack and throw it at people. Hey, right? Now, there is something you would wear. Oh, and so there's the headdress, right? So there's something called the gautra. The gautra is that red, and you can wear red or white. Red is really Saudi. White is kind of more general. Like if you go to the United Arab Emirates, most of them are wearing white. They will not wear the red because red is more Saudi, from my understanding, right? So Peter says, I own one of those garments too. Souvenir wore once. I mean, I wore this a lot, especially when I was there, right? And then I would grow out the beard a bit, but I never had very good, I don't get good growth here, so I just grow the goatee, right? But the gautra is really nice because you wear that. And then you know how a lot of people, here in America, a lot of people wear the woven cap. And I found out from the Saudi guys that that's not really a Muslim thing. It's just like how they secure the gautra to their head, right? So it's this cotton woven, it sits there. And then you lay the gautra on you, and then you put I forgot what the rings are called, and that kind of helps secure it. Now, here's the interesting thing is that these Saudi guys, they're so particular. Like they want to have they're very much about rose water and ironing their gautra. Like you see the guys wearing the shamags or the keffiyehs, and they're all kind of wrapping them around, and they're, you know, freedom fighting, so that's a whole different world. But in Saudi, the guys are very much like ironing it and like starching it and make it nice and crisp. The lines are crisp. And then when they're putting on there, they're very particular. Like if you want to impress Saudi people, I'm presuming this will impress the women. I don't know because you don't really talk to women there. There's a particular way where you peak it here and then it comes down and then hooks up again like that. Like you really want to like work it and fix it and like make it look, and then it drapes down. Like the idea is that it's the head of the cobra, right? If you get the head of the cobra, you're like the most awesome, like sartorial style that you can possibly have there. And so you get that, and then you could wear the gautra, like you can just hang it down. You can put it, you know, behind you. You can take one and go over. You can take them both and go over, so they're a little bit higher. So depending on the situation that you have as far as heat, temperature, whatever, you can like move it around so that you can be more comfortable. But the more sporty guys, like the younger guys, they like to they'll still wear the gautra, but what they like to sport are the ball caps, right? Like they'll get a ball cap like this, nice crisp ball cap. And I kind of like this style. They wear a nice ball cap with trainers, and they're thrown like, oh, that's pretty stylish, man. That's pretty stylish. So if you want to be the stylish Saudi guy, you wear the crisp hat, right? That's kind of the whole deal there. So, but maybe I'm a little bit too old for that, right? I'm a little bit too old to be doing things like that. Now, we're coming along here. I think we're losing volume at a very high rate of speed. Let me add some more here. Russell says we're getting a complete experience. Phil says don't burn down. I'm going to try not to. But I think we're okay. With the burning of the coffee. Neil, good morning to you. Good to see you. Love the video. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate that very much. By the way, I should be able to drop off your samples today. So if so, you should have. Excellent. I'll be away most of this week, but awesome. Oh, thank you. You like that pen? I got this back in the 90s when I was all about being all fancy, like having nice things. Now I'm just like, what I do regret is not buying the bigger one. I should have bought the big fat one so I could be like, right? Like I can't afford the new ones today. Who can afford those stuff? I'm like, I can't afford it. All right, so we were 19 minutes when we started, and we're 30 minutes now, so we still got about another 5 minutes of boiling to go with this. So really getting a lot of the boiling going on here. This is the one downside about like the Gahwa Arabiya is that it's, very long to bake. Oh, and that's another thing. This is called Gahwa Arabiya. Gahwa is the general term for coffee, which evidently used to be the word for wine in Arabic, but somewhere, and I don't know if they thought about they liked wine at some point in time, and then whoever within Islam decided that wine and drinking was haram, was forbidden, and so nobody really drank. And here's the interesting thing, right? So, as all these Saudi guys that I know, they're all Muslim. And nobody curses. Like nobody curses. Like if you see me in real life, there's a lot of times blah 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 blah, right? All kinds of like expletives. Because I think expletives are a great way to express your emotions, or a great way to express your feelings, right? But Saudi guys never, none of my Saudi friends, I don't recall ever hearing them ever. And maybe even I will extend that to my Muslim friends. Like, you just don't see them doing that. Like Christians cursing all the time, cursing up and down. Damn it this and damn it that and all that kind of stuff. But Muslim guys never hear that. Like now, of course, in Saudi Arabia, there's 65 million people. So certainly somebody somewhere in Saudi Arabia that is Muslim must be cursing up a storm somehow, sometime, right? But my guys that I know never do, at least not in public. Maybe at home, when they're all alone, maybe they're like, all that. But I just never, and I'm actually kind of impressed by that. I'm like, huh. Like a couple of times that I've let it out, like you can see they're physically affected by it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm just a crass American, right? Wearing a thobe. What can I do? But the Gahwa, so it's Gahwa Arabiya. And during one of my later trips to Saudi, MBS, the Mohammed bin Sultan, who is the kind of now de facto head of the Saud family, which is where the term Saudi Arabia comes from, is that it's the Saud family that runs the country. They made a law where they wanted to promote Arabic coffee as Saudi coffee. So they made a law where it says you can only call Arabic coffee Saudi coffee. It's only Saudi coffee. It's nothing else. So you must call it Saudi coffee. That's fine. I mean, and they even have this event where they're promoting like Saudi coffee competitions. And some of the people I know were asked to be judges there. And I was like, man, I wish they would ask me to be a judge there, because those guys because it's sponsored now by the actual country, by MBS. So it's like super well funded, super amazing. It's like, I'm like, oh man, I wish I was an expert in Arabic coffee. It says, I'm going to the DC area on the 27th. Is your shop back open? Unfortunately, the shop is not back open. My apologies on that. And unfortunately, we're also kind of far from DC. But, there's other coffee shops you might be interested. If you have time, maybe come up and we can have a coffee somewhere. Let me know. Okay, so I think, 34. Okay, so we should be good. So now we've reached 15 minutes of boiling. So let's stop our boiling. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the traditional della, right? Now you can just use the della. This is an all brass. Yeah, this is an all brass della. You could use the all brass della. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't know, is this safe to drink out of? Who knows? We'll find out. The dellas have been around since the 17th century, and They evolved as part of the whole like hospitality of the Middle East. And Middle Easterns are very hospitable, and despite the kind of like reputation, not reputation, but despite the kind of like stories that were fed here in America about Muslims, they're actually very hospitable, and so they'll keep something like this, or typically a bigger one. A lot of the traditional households will keep these on like coals. They have set up just for this, and they'll keep the coffee warm in case visitors happen to stop by. And what you're doing is and the traditional way of doing this della, right? This della is a big, long gooseneck beak here, good for pouring. But typically, so you can see here, right? You would actually make the coffee in this traditional way. You'd actually just set it on the coal or on a fire and put the coffee in, put the water, put everything, and just cook it. Now, I didn't do that today because how the traditional way of doing it is to get some kind of straw or something, and they fasten it in here to act as a filter. And I never learned how to do that. So I have no idea or I don't even know what I'm supposed to be using. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to transfer it into here using a strainer because it's fairly simple to do, right? So we're just going to put this here. And now we're going to pour and hopefully not, oh, jeez. This is not a very good pouring. Oh my goodness. That closes that. Okay, so that's just enough. Let me just do some housekeeping here. Look at this mess. All right. Good thing I have my special cloths. Here's the problem with the thobe, and this is what I'm impressed with by these Saudi guys the most, or Middle Eastern guys in general, is that okay, I've been a pretty fat guy most of my life, right? I find that the bane of like a fat guy's existence is white. Like I don't wear white, I wear black because you know what? If you spill stuff on you, not a big deal, right? If you spill coffee on a black shirt, not a big deal. You spill coffee on a white shirt, big deal. So I've always been leery of that, but I'm impressed with these Saudi guys, man. They're out, working, drinking coffee, eating at restaurants, and they leave fairly clean. They're not always perfectly clean, but and I say, well, don't you guys worry about getting to? Can we just buy another one? Because thobes are not, I guess, not terribly expensive. Or maybe they got a lot of money. I don't know. Umar says, audio is a bit crunchy. Oh, sorry. Maybe that's me just moving around because my microphone is mounted right here. So if you're hearing it, that's probably because it's ruffling around. I will try not to move so much. Obi-Wan Kenobi's with us. Good morning. Just watched a Tokyo travel video. Oh, thank you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Peter says, that's what happens when you don't use the straw. I know. That's what happens. And another problem with this is that you have to be careful if you actually are using these on a burner because even though it's just sitting here, the handle and this old school one is pretty warm. It's not scalding me, but it's definitely on the warmer side. And you just kind of leave it here like this and you can have it. And especially when you go to places, like you go to hotels and everything, they usually have some sort of gahwa set up ready to welcome you. Like you go to a hotel, you check in, would you like a gahwa? Oh, thank you, I would love the gahwa. Now, the traditional gahwa is served in what's called a finjan, and the one that you see in the video is the traditional one. I realized I couldn't find mine. I was looking around today. I was like, where is that finjan? I have one finjan floating around somewhere here. It used to just be here. Oh, here it is. Okay, perfect. What does that say? I can't read. I picked this up, I think, in Saudi. Now, I do have this set of Ethiopian cups, which are pretty much very similar, right? Like how much? We'll open these just in case, just to show you. I picked this up in Addis, actually, many, many years, but I've never used them. As you can see, I bought them like in probably 2007. So yeah, see, this is the Ethiopian stuff because it has the Ethiopian figures on it. the Ethiopian artwork. And this is their traditional kind of a cup for the Ethiopian coffee ceremony. Now, remember, coffee theoretically started in Ethiopia, migrated to Yemen, and then spread across the Arabian Peninsula. So you're going to find a lot of similarities. So this is more of a traditional finjan. This is from a company called Mountains. Oh, I don't know where it's from, but that's the more traditional. So we're going to use that one. I just put this away. It's survived for almost 20 years now, or would hate for it to damage it now. Is it really 20 years? No. 2007? Yeah. Getting close to it. Okay, so you've got your finjan. Now, when you go to a Saudi person's house, you're going to be typically going to be offered coffee. You should always say yes. You should never decline. It would be poor taste for you to decline. Even if you don't like it, just take a little bit. And here's the thing: when they pour you the coffee, they're only going to pour a quarter of a cup, right? They will almost never pour it higher than that because of hospitality, right? And here's the thing. This is something that my Saudi friends told me years ago. They were like, okay, when you go there, he said, here's the thing: if you know you're welcome if you're getting a quarter cup, right? Like in America, we think that we should fill it up and like to the brim, right? But in Saudi culture, if you fill it quarter cup, you're welcome. Like they want you to stay, they want you to enjoy. If they fill it like almost all the way to the top, it means drink your coffee and get the heck out of our house, right? So keep that in mind as you're enjoying coffee with your Saudi friends. Oh no, it's been glitching. Oh, sorry. We'll try to not move. So maybe it's the movement. Do you think it's related to the movement of the microphone? All right, so let's pour some. Zoom in again. So we're just going to pour. Well, that handle is hot now. And because of the slope of this, you have to pour pretty far. Oops, not too far. Okay, just like that. This is about as much as you want to pour into your cup, and you kind of have a couple sips with it. And as you can see here, it is a very lightly roasted coffee. Like this is coffee color that you're probably not used to. And I gotta be honest, it's a coffee color and a coffee experience that I'm still like maybe unsure of. Like I do it and I enjoy it, but I'm like, do I really like it? I don't know. Lighter, definitely a lighter. Maybe a little bit of syrup, but there's definitely sweetness in the aroma. So it's a whole different experience. Clean, sweet, lightly tannic. Peter says, looks like roasted dates color. It does. It does. Actually, speaking of dates, we have to get the dates. So I have some Deglet Noor dates here. Nothing too fancy. If you want to buy nice dates, some of the best quality dates come from Saudi Arabia. Now, here, if you talk to Emirati people, they're going to tell you no, Saudis are not as good as what we have in the Emirates. If you talk to Saudi people will tell you that the dates of the kingdom are the best in the world. And you know what? They both have their pluses, but I have really had some wonderful dates in both. Actually, what I've had is that in the UAE, there's a company called Batel, Bateel. Very difficult to get in America. And actually, I cut it out of the actual video, but some of the dates that Michael gets at her shop at Mocha are from Batel. I was like, ooh, because she had just gone to Dubai, so she bought a whole bunch of dates. I was like, ooh. Because Batel will take dates and they'll stuff it with different types of dried fruit or nuts. And man, I love that stuff. That is so good. But I'll just go there and get ajwa, which is the Prophet's dates from. There's like these date shops in Saudi. You just walk in there, they have all these dates. Ajwa dates. I like sukari dates. This sugar one that's got a little bit of papery papery texture on the outer skin, and a beautiful, chewy, sweet center. Gosh, to me, that's my favorite. These are Diglett Noors, so they're a little bit different. So you get a couple dates. Like in the video, you'll see a couple dates. Now, these dates are looking kind of like they're crystallized because they've been sitting around for a little while. Dates don't really go bad because they're dried, right? They're also got a very high sugar content, so you don't really have to worry about it. Phil says that Medjool, he likes Medjool dates, and Peter likes Moroccan dates. I have not had dates from Morocco, so I can't speak to that. I would be very open to exploration of greater dates. Coffee Cove's with us. It's been a while. Good. Oh, thank you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. I appreciate that. Really enjoyed the video. Love history of other cultures. It's always so interesting to learn more about other cultures, I think. Phil says Medjool is all we get. Okay. Well, yeah, that's the one thing. It's hard to get. It is difficult to get these particular dates. Oh, these are from Algeria. Look at that. These are from Algeria. And what do they say about it? I got this from Home Goods for $5. Sometimes Home Goods has some good deals. Oh, here it says X by 222. So we're a little bit old. But somewhere in the house, I do have some other dates that are kind of like in a paste substance that are like in a really tight packaging. Those I got from Saudi, but I don't know where they were. So now these are pitted, so you don't have to worry about biting around the seed, which is kind of the enjoyment of the dates. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like olives. Like I love Castelveltrano olives from Spain. The pits are always kind of you always have to deal with them. But I remember one time I found this jar, a big jar of Castelveltrano pitted olives from Costco, and I was like, oh, I'm buying that, and I bought it. And I didn't enjoy them as much. They weren't as good. I don't know if it was the quality of the olives they were buying, or because it had been pitted. But one of my other purveyors here sells them, and I buy it from them because I like it. And then there's another one that has Castelveltrano. This Greek company, but they like to put all kinds of things like dill and stuff on. I'm like, don't put anything on that. I just want the beautiful like saltiness of the Castel. I don't want any other herbs. So you have your dates. Let's put a little bit more coffee here. You have your dates. You really have to pour it over. Oops. Really, it takes practice because like it's such a weird spout compared to what we normally use. You really have to pour it higher or pour it more over. Okay, so that's a little bit too much. Like you're right here. If you serve this to a guest, like you're right on the verge of telling them get out. Oh. But dates and Gahwa are the natural pairing. Beautiful combination. And there's so many different dates to try with it. Like definitely, if you get the chance, try the Ajwa. AJWA, I believe that's the one they call the Prophet's dates. Reputedly, the Ajwa is the favorite date of the Prophet Muhammad, who is, one of the central figures of Islam. It's a very revered date, very good date too, darker and like blacker, smaller than the Sukari. I still like the Sukari better. Peter says Algeria is close enough to Morocco. Yes, but I'm sure those guys are Moroccans. Are like, what? You're eating Algerian dates? That's not real dates. Jay says that I made date caramel this weekend to make a healthier version of bibinka. Oh, so did that make it healthier? It sounds delicious. I don't know. Does that make it healthier? I don't know. I think the healthier version of bibinka is not to eat bibinka. But then what fun is that? What fun would that be? That would be no fun at all. What a waste of time if you didn't eat bibinka. And those of you who may not be familiar with bibinka, bibinka is like one of the Filipino rice based desserts. It comes in different forms, but man, it's got that that glutinous rice, that mochi rice kind of like chewiness. That Asians love the chewy. We love that style of chewy. Ah, my goodness. All right, let's have a little more coffee. Now, here's something that some of what's it called? Kingdom Dates. There's a company called Kingdom Dates in Saudi Arabia. They turned me on to this. The girls at one of the booths turned me on to this. They're like, Now, have you tried dates with tahini? And I was like, what? Dates with tahini? What are you talking about? They have a little squeeze bottle of tahini onto your dates. Oh my gosh, especially like, I guess it's kind of popular in Saudi. And so most of the world thinks that peanut butter and jelly is a strange thing. Like peanut butter to begin with is strange. Peanut butter and jelly is even stranger. And maybe Saudis think this. I don't know if they think that. I don't know if they think peanut butter and jelly is a weird thing. But this with tahini butter or ground tahini sauce. Oh my gosh, it is Saudi peanut butter and jelly. It is so good. It is really good. I was like, oh, I would buy that. I should have thought of that before we started. Phil says, I've never had peanut butter and jelly. Yes, it's a weird, I mean, I hear it's weird. It's not, if you grew up in America, it's not weird, but get some dates, get some tahini, put the tahini on your date. Man, it is good. It's really good. Huh, these dates are pretty good too. Mm-hmm. So this is what you do. You just kind of sit around with your friends, and you see here what I'm saying? It's like you have to really tilt it. I'm tilted pretty far, but it's all being held back because of this bulbous curve there. So you really got to pour harder and then stop. And it's actually, even though you're folded over, you can control it very well because of the curvature of this spout. Now, let's say you've been sitting around with your Saudi friends and you've had enough coffee. Like you know that it's rude to say no to coffee, but you don't want to. But you've had enough. So all you have to do is to do this. So the next time they go around like this, just go, and that means I'm good. I'm good. Peter says, stuff your dates with tahini, dip it in chocolate. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's craziness. Oh, yeah, that's a great idea, though. I can't say that's a bad idea. I finally had the Dubai chocolate over the weekend. Maybe I said that on Friday, but I went to an Asian market, I think on Thursday when I arrived in Connecticut. They had the Dubai chocolate, and I was like, ooh, Dubai chocolate. Finally, I get to try it. It was actually pretty good. I like it. If you're not familiar, Dubai chocolate is this kind of like, they take elements of kataifi, which is the vermicelli noodle dessert, and they kind of mix that, I think, with pistachios and some sugar in a bar setting, and then they enrobe it with chocolate and then a little bit of pistachio on top. And so it's really crunchy. It's actually quite good. Phil says, try a bit of tahini with carob, molasses, slightly stirred with pistachio. Oh, that sounds good too. I need to go find the tahini. I don't know where it is. So as you can see, it's a nice way to kind of spend some time. And if you have a friend or whatever, you just kind of sit there, pour each other coffee, and just kind of sit down, relax, talk. It's very pleasant. Now, in this particular version, I did not add things like cardamom or saffron. You can add those as well. I just wanted to give it a go. Just with the straight, because I've had it that way straight, and I've had it with cardamom, and I've had it with the saffron, and it's very nice either way. I think also if you want to get into exploration, like you could play with other things, like maybe cloves or anything, star anise seeds. Well, I think that if you're interested in playing around with coffees, that could be an interesting exploration. It wouldn't necessarily be Gahwa Arabiya anymore, but it would be maybe something interesting. Peter said it'll taste like Mars. Oh. Phil says that any Mediterranean store has tahini. Oh, I meant that. I wonder where I put my tahini, the one from Kingdom Dates. It's got to be in one of the cabinets somewhere. I try not to eat too much of anything anymore. Kiana says the practice of drinking coffee there seems very similar to how they drink tea in Taiwan. Oh, I would like to know more about that. Phil says, I mentioned pistachio is for, the pistachio, I mentioned pistachio is for the Dubai. Oh, okay, gotcha. You mean Dubai? Oh, wait. Let me look back here. With carob molasses slightly stirred. So you're saying to take the coffee, mix in tahini, carob, and molasses with pistachio to make a Dubai coffee? Am I understanding that right? Dubai chocolate coffee. Maybe we can work on Dubai chocolate latte. No, it's not. Okay, well, yeah. My comprehension is never very good, so you have to bear with me. But I'm going to have another date, even though I probably shouldn't. Because we need more coffee. Now, like I said, if you get someone that comes to you, that you go to their house, and then they fill it like this, that does not bode well for you, my friend. It means that you're supposed to drink your coffee and leave. And actually, now that I've been drinking coffee with the lower volumes for so many years now, it actually feels weird to have it high. Like, it doesn't feel as comfortable. And I think part of this sign of hospitality is that they fill it lower so that they'll refill it more to show you that you're welcome in their home. Phil says that just tahini and carob, you eat that with some bread. Oh, gotcha. The pistachios you said with Dubai. Okay. I thought we were talking about making a whole new drink, which we could. Peter says there is a Dubai chocolate-inspired coffee. Oh, there is. Why am I not surprised by that? I need to read more about this Dubai chocolate to really understand what they put in it. Hi. It's been such a while since I've had Arabic coffee that I'm kind of like really enjoying it. I just reminds me as I was preparing for this, I was just looking on YouTube to see what kind of videos are out there about Arabic coffee or the Gahwa Arabiya. And if you look under Arabic coffee, there's one of my favorite channels actually is a guy called Middle Eats. And I think he's a Lebanese guy based in London, and he makes really great videos about like Middle Eastern food. But he has this one called Arabic coffee, but it's actually the Turkish style coffee. And I was like, well, that's kind of a strange thing that he would call it Arabic coffee, because Arabic coffee is very different than Turkish style coffee. Like, I don't know anyone that really would call the Jezve style of making coffee. I don't know if they would call it Arabic. They might call it Turkish. They might call it Lebanese coffee. They might call it Armenian style, but I've never heard anyone call it Arabic. So I just thought that was just kind of curious, just a curious thing. Russell says, I don't like the coffee that I can see through. Does it? No, it's fine. I mean, but if you haven't tried it, it's worth trying. Like, just if you can find a place that makes it, properly traditional, I think it's worth exploring. Like, even if you, at the end of the day, you don't like it, and you're like, oh God, I would never have that, right? The fact that you tried it, you've expanded your horizon already. You've already expanded your experience range, your depth of knowledge on it, right? So, for example, let's say something that's popular. Well, maybe not so much. Well, I guess popular in traditional Polynesian culture. Something that in Hawaii they call it kava. I think Tongans call it ava. But basically, there are roots, and Kelly knows this. Roots from a tree. I don't know what tree though. Like, I've only drank it. I've never really made it. And you get the roots and you soak them in water, and I think you twist them, and it creates this basically a muddy water. It's a muddy water. It tastes like mud, right? You're drinking a muddy water, but it has this anesthetic effect. And you do very similar to this. You sit around, you drink from the ava bowl, the kava bowl, and you talk and you hang out with your friends. It's usually a male thing, or men and women do it separately. And I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind it, but the flavor is definitely acquired. I think it's, like I said, you're basically drinking dirty water, and you have to kind of like get used to that. But if you've never tried it, all you know is that, it kind of tastes like dirty water. But if you never tried it, then how would you'd never get to be able to relate a good experience. So I think it's worthwhile to try like things like this and anything that may be outside of your normal wheelhouse, just to see, like maybe you might end up liking that version of it. Right? That happens to me. Like, for example, I was one of the classes, the sessions that I attended on Saturday at the Fine Woodworking New England conference was this one about bandsaw boxes, and you use a bandsaw to make a box. And I've seen a lot of them out there, and the ones that they're cute, but I want to make furniture. I don't want to make dumb boxes. Boxes are dumb. Like bandsaw boxes, that's dumb. I'm not going to do that. But I sat in on this thing, by this presentation by this guy named Michael Cullen. Michael Cullen's from California. I think he's from California, and he makes these bandsaw boxes. And I know it's a bandsaw box, workshop, and I'm like, I'll go sit in on it and see, right? Because even though I already have a predisposition to thinking that it's dumb, like why would I ever do that? I'll sit in and check it out. One of the first things Michael Cullen says in his workshop is like, when I started out, he basically said that when I started out, I thought bandsaw boxes were dumb, and I was like, yes, dude, exactly, it's dumb. What? This is foolish. What is this craziness, right? And then he goes to a show. He then proceeds to show us how he makes his boxes, and I gotta say, I was like quite interested. I was like, this is kind of dumb, and then it's kind of interesting. Oh, you can do that, huh? And now I'm like, I need to try that. I want to try that technique. Now I have an idea that it's like, maybe we can make, boxes that are kind of, that might be, that we could gear towards coffee lovers, right? So when I started like, okay, that's stupid. Now I'm like, fascinating. Like, there's so much technique into it. And you're like, what? You got that? All that work into making that? And so if you look him up, Michael Cullen, Cullen, on Instagram, he does some interesting work. But it was like that. It's like I started out thinking that was dumb, and then now I'm like, maybe I need a bigger bandsaw. Kira says you can get what they call Dubai chocolate in 7-Eleven here. Oh, wow, really? Yeah, I've heard it's very popular outside of the United States. Phil says not many places serve this style of Arabic coffee. I know it's difficult. I realize it's difficult to find. I realize that. And Phil says, I would guess it's from the Ottoman days that the Turks, Armenians, and Greek share very much. Yes, I think you're right. I totally think you're totally on that. Fiona says it's reversed in Tonga. Oh, it's Tongans call it kava, and in Hawaii we call it ava. Oh, that's why I'm see when I say ava, I see it in my mind with okina, which is that little apostrophe looking thing before the A. Okay, you're okay. The plant member is of the pepper family. Phil says that is it the one with pink, thin-shelled, tiny peppercorns? I think those are actually the Szechuan peppercorns, I think. I don't know. Kelly says there's actually an alpha group here in Krumtep. There are several Tongans, Fiji, and I'm presuming figs means Fijians. Another guy from Hawaii, and we mix well, that's kind of cool. Oh, where do you get the ava? Where do you get the root? Phil says that I know that the reddish pink are supposed to be medicinal. Oh, okay. Oh, Native Americans. Okay. I have no idea what you're doing with that. What I'm not familiar with those species. Kenny says no, it's different. It doesn't have any pepper carbs. what you drink is the root, and it's usually dried and smashed into a powder. Or in Hawaii, we smash it and freeze it fresh. Oh, okay. It's been a while since I've had it. Like I remember there used to be a bar, a kava bar, and an ava bar that I didn't really go to very often. Once in a while, I think it's back in the 90s. There was one right on Kapahulu Avenue. Kind of cool. I always wanted to get one of the bowls. Like there's this very particular bowl, traditional bowl that's kind of like a conical shaped bowl that has like round feet, like let's say 20 round feet around the entire perimeter of the circle of the cone. Very shallow cone. Karen says, people bring in the ava from families that are visiting from the South Pacific, and typically I will bring some after I visit home. Is that something you forage yourself, or is that something you can buy? So many things that you want to bring back. Like I used to bring tea leaves with me to make leis. Or tea leaves to make leis, but also to season the kalua, right? And when I say tea leaves, there's not the tea as in TEA, the Camellia sinensis, is that what it's called? The tea leaf, not that. There's another plant in Hawaii called T-I, and it's this long elongated leaf, and it's very traditional for use to make. If you ever see people in Hawaii that have these leis that they drape that are green, they look like green ropes, that's typically made from the tea leaf. And you'll also use the tea leaf not just as an adornment, as a lei in itself, but you'll also use it to create the lei. So you'll actually use the leaf and weave it while putting other floral or plant elements to create the lei. So you may be making like a lei po'o that goes around your head. So I would bring that back. But you can also use those leaves as a seasoning ingredient for your kalua pig. And so the kalua pig is the traditional like luau shredded pork that's cooked in an underground oven called the imu. And you actually will put, what we'll do is that we'll season like with the ala'ea red salt, season the pork with that, put it in the pit. Well, we'll put, the rocks will be hot from the fire that's burned down. And then banana stalks, smash the banana stalks, put that on top, a lot of banana leaf, put that on top of that. Then you put your pig, and then you'll put some tea leaves, kind of like a seasoning, a herbaceous kind of flavor. More banana leaves to cover it all, tarp, and then cover with dirt, and then come back like tomorrow. And delicious. And if you put turkey in with it, Dev knows what we're talking about. Dev knows that. Bowls, not ball. Did I say ball? Did I say ball? Sorry. It's getting late. Or it's kind of early. All right. So that was a little bit about the Gahwa Arabiya. I hope that makes some sense. I hope that kind of maybe piques your interest. If you can find a place that does traditional style Gahwa, I would definitely recommend giving it a try. It's a very different experience. And if you can find a place that will do it in a very, kind of traditional sense where you sit around and you enjoy it and you have dates or even other things like, actually, I don't recall. I was going to say have some kataifi with it, but I don't really recall if when I would have the kataifi at different places, we would have it more. Well, I guess you probably would have coffee. Like if we're at, there's a traditional like Bedouin style restaurant called Najwa Village. Is that right? Naj Village, NAJD. And they would serve the gahwa before the meal. Would they serve it after? I think we might have tea after. I don't know. But typically, dates and coffee. Maybe a little squeeze of tahini would be okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Like I said, I've got to go to Boston tomorrow, so no live stream tomorrow. maybe there's a possibility we may not be able to do a live stream the rest of the week. So I will try to keep everyone updated as to, for sure, no tomorrow, because tomorrow I got to take my parents and drive them up to Boston. So that's going to take the entire day. And while I normally do a road show, there's so much we have to get prepared for this. But I will try to keep updates on the community posts for the channel to let you know when we'll be able to do another one, or I'll just schedule it and then you'll see it on the schedule. But either way, I'll try to keep everyone up to date. But for sure, probably not tomorrow, and almost certainly not Wednesday. Maybe not even Thursday. Maybe by Friday we can come back to it, because this even affects like probably my ability to do the Thursday night live stream as well. But back again, we will be. That's why I always have to say, most Monday through Fridays rather than all Monday through Fridays. All right, so that's pretty much it for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. And be back again soon. So I look forward to it. Hope you have a wonderful week out there. And see you next time.